Have you ever wondered what really awaits us after the age of 80? It's not just gray hair or a hunched back. It's the silent changes hard to name, but making the whole world around us different. Things no one warns you about in advance. Entering the age of 80, many people think they are ready, but then life still throws a few surprises at them, shocks that do not come from illness, but from the feeling of being forgotten, narrowed, and challenged both physically and mentally. In today's video, we will explore together 5 harsh truths that everyone needs to understand as they enter their twilight years. This is not just a reminder, but a guideline to help you live fully, peacefully, and meaningfully every morning. Stay until the end, because maybe what you're about to hear will change the way you view aging. 1. Narrowing of social relationships. When you reach the age of 80, something happens very silently. And the most heartbreaking is, the world around you gradually becomes smaller. No fuss, no warning, but clear. Those old close friends, the ones who called you just to tell you nothing, may now have moved away, are in the hospital. Or worse, are no longer in this world. Your family still loves you, still cares, but their lives are too busy. The calls became less frequent. Meetings became rare. And then, one day you suddenly realize, silence has become your companion every morning. This is not the loneliness of wanting someone by your side all the time. It's a feeling of emptiness, as if a part of the world you once knew has left forever. Familiar laughter, afternoon coffee chats, now only live in memories. But you know what? That feeling is not weakness. It is a very real form of regret. Regret for things that were once simple but precious. What a pity for a time when friendship, intimacy, were always there, no need to schedule an appointment. So it's more important than ever to stay connected to yourself. Tell your life story. Stay in touch with a few truly precious people, even if it's just a short call. Because when the number of people around you decreases, the meaning of each connection increases. Turning 80 doesn't mean the end of relationships. It's time to be selective, to keep the threads truly deep and sincere. 2. When a small health problem becomes a big problem. And then, in that increasingly quiet world, you start to pay more attention to one thing. Your body is no longer cooperative like before. Previously, just a good night's sleep made all fatigue disappear. A cold? It's gone in a few days. A slight bruise? 1 week is good. But after age 80, those seemingly simple things suddenly become persistent, unpredictable, and even dangerous. One missed step can lead to broken bones. A sleepless night leads to a tiring week. And forgetting to drink water once can cause blood pressure to drop uncontrollably. There is no more room for negligence. Your body demands attention every day, every hour. What makes many people feel the heaviest is not just the physical changes, but the feeling of losing control, losing the initiative that has been a source of pride all their lives. When relationships shrink, as mentioned in the previous section, health becomes the only thing you can rely on. But ironically, it started to wobble. So you can't ignore the little signals anymore. Learn to listen to your body. Rest when needed. Eat enough, drink enough. Talk to your doctor if something seems unusual. Don't wait until it's too late. Aging is not about accepting weakness. It's about accepting self-care with more love and patience than ever before. 3. When you start to become invisible in the crowd. When your health begins to become fragile, you learn to listen to your body more. But something else also begins to change, not within you, but the way the world sees you, or rather, no longer sees you. You enter a room, but no longer see anyone turning around and smiling like before. You contribute to a conversation, but no one seems to notice. Sometimes you even get interrupted, as if people think you've finished speaking, even though you haven't finished the story. It's not because they don't love you. It's not because you're not important. But because modern society has a rhythm that is too fast, too young, and sometimes it unintentionally obscures those who have lived the longest and experienced the most. That feeling was not anger, but a silent sadness. You are still you, the person who raised a family, survived many hardships, and cared for others. But now, sometimes you find yourself being passed over. And in those moments, it's easy to feel small and not as confident as before. Especially when your body is no longer stable, and now your voice and presence are no longer heard. But you know what? Your value does not lie in whether others pay attention or not. It lies in the experiences that only you can have. Let's keep talking. Tell old stories. Laugh with experience. Because no matter how busy the world gets, someone will still stop to listen if you keep speaking up. 4. When the world around you quietly shrinks. After realizing that you are no longer being listened to like before, you begin to notice something else. The world around you is also gradually shrinking. No more hurried mornings preparing to meet friends, no more afternoons visiting neighbors or walking through familiar parks. Even though your heart still wants it, your legs are slower, your eyesight is weaker, and your strength is no longer as supple as before. Every trip out of the house now becomes a big preparation, and sometimes you choose to stay, not because you don't want to live, but because things have become too difficult. Familiar faces gradually disappeared. Some people move away, some people no longer exist. Places that were once familiar, old coffee shops, old market corners, neighborhood cultural houses, are now either different or simply too far away. The feeling of being forgotten in society comes not only from people, but also from living spaces that are gradually closing. You are no longer seen, but you also go out less to be seen. Every day is more the same, repeating familiar scenes, but also monotonous. However, downsizing does not mean ending. Sometimes, a small world can hold deeper things: an unexpected phone call, a window with morning sunlight, or a cup of tea with an old friend. When the world outside gradually quiets, the world inside you can still continue to be alive, if you let it bloom from the smallest things. 5. When your own body becomes the most unpredictable thing. As your life outside dwindles, you start spending more time at home, and from there, you listen to your body more. But instead of stability, what you get are vague, unstable signals. Some days, you wake up in a good mood, your mind is clear and your body feels energized. You think to yourself, I can walk a little today. But just a day later, you feel tired again, your mind is foggy, and your knees ache for no apparent reason. The body is now like an old clock, working no longer regularly, and sometimes without warning. The feeling of being unable to predict yourself makes you lose confidence. You start to doubt simple things like going to the supermarket, walking down the steps, or just bending over to tie your shoelaces. Not because you can't do it, but because you're no longer sure how your body will cooperate. Not only is this annoying, it also makes you feel small and vulnerable, especially if you used to be a strong, independent person who didn't need anyone's help. However, it is in this instability that you learn something valuable: mental flexibility. When you accept that your body is no longer the same as before, you begin to adjust your pace of life, learn to listen to yourself, slow down when needed, and rest at the right time. Adaptation doesn't make you weaker, it's proof that you're still alive, coping, and overcoming. We have just gone through 5 harsh realities that most people after the age of 80 silently experience. From relationships gradually drifting apart, to unreliable health, to the feeling of being forgotten by society, to shrinking living space, and finally to the instability of one's own body. It may sound heavy, but realizing these things doesn't mean you're weak or giving up. On the contrary, it is a sign of awakening. When you dare to look directly at those changes, you are no longer a passive person in the aging journey, but become the master of it. Age 80 is not a time to close, but a time to live more deeply. It is no longer the years of chasing work or fame, but the time to connect with yourself, to choose what truly brings meaning. And you are not alone. There are millions of people out there who are also quietly walking the same path. If this video makes you feel understood, or stirs something in your heart, leave a comment below. We'd love to know, which part of these 5 realities makes you ponder the most? If you find this video useful, please click like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. That helps us continue to create humane and inspiring content for the senior community. See you in the next videos. And remember, old age doesn't take away your worth. It just lights you up in a different way.